Morning.
I think every Gen X person went to college and sang that song at a bar with extra words. But if you don't know that song, I'm a fan of all genres. So we're going.
Good morning.
Jackie Ellis, I see you up there on my
Oh, good morning.
screen.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, Richard Bass. We were all out last week. How was Industry Update? I'm kidding.
Um,
We canceled it because we were at
it,
Mega Camp.
it
All
was
right.
it was very slow last week,
Yeah.
but this is going to be interesting looking back at the numbers to see what happened last week, and then
Yep.
yeah, I've just been scrolling through them. This is an interesting one.
There you go. All right. Well, let's jump in. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Broward County single family. All right. So Broward County last 2 weeks. So we'll hit last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, there was 803 listing active status, which was great. That's the biggest number in a while. And then we went to 735, which is pretty consistent. 185 went under contract. Yes, there's two down arrows because the week before was a huge week with 230. So we leave town and everything sells. Is that what happens? Why the middle of August? I would assume it has to do with school. I had final closings right at the end of the summer, but those are properties going under contract. Any insight, Richard Bass?
Uh,
Anybody?
no, other than what you just said, is this was last week like the last rush before back to school, and the counties down here started a little bit different for each one, and private schools different than regular schools, but that's the only reason I can come up with for that blip in it last week.
Yep. I mean, there's an interesting, if you look at this pending, we're at 135, 133. We were kind of hitting those. And then end of July, early August, we were in a little bit of a lull. And then all of a sudden it's moving again. There were 216 closings and then 267. Like this is a huge week for Broward County single family.
Yeah,
Doesn't
for the
totally
middle of a
translate.
month,
Yeah.
that's a huge number.
And then if I look at this canceled number, 109, that tells me people canceling their listings that didn't sell because school's starting, I would assume. All right, that's
Yep.
Broward County single family. Broward County condo, 844, same thing, huge listing week right here. We had 106 go under contract, 120. So same story. Last 2 weeks ago was a big week. On the pending front, they had 108. These look pretty consistent comparatively to what we were seeing. They had a huge closing week as well. So it's got to be something related to schools, guys. 120 closings in the last 7 days is a little low, but there was a big week the week before. So maybe just the combination of the two. All right, let's hit Miami-Dade single family. Miami-Dade single family, same story. Big listing inventory hit August, middle of August, and then 649 is actually still an up number compared to what we were seeing previously in Miami-Dade single family. You've got 113 that went under contract, 121. These look pretty consistent of properties going under contract. We had 181 pending 2 weeks ago, 162 this week. Um, those are good numbers. We had 188 close out 2 weeks ago, which comparatively is a pretty strong number. And then 150 this week, which comparatively is still a healthy number for Miami-Dade single family. Same story. There was a little pop of canceled listings 2 weeks ago. If I go Miami-Dade condo, you got 884 2 weeks ago, big listing pop. So we had a lot of property go under contract, come on the market, and close 2 weeks ago. And then, but if you're looking at under contract, what segment am I in? Miami-Dade condo. 99 and then 116 here. But if you look at these 4 weeks, 103, 82, 116, 99, that's a considerable increase from what we were seeing. So you're seeing more movement happening in the last 30 days than we were seeing in the middle of the summer. That just goes to show it's not a normal year. Pending 144, 149, comparatively, those are bigger than probably 8 weeks in the middle of the summer. Closed 133, 159, and then the 2 weeks ago there was a big canceled number. All right, Palm Beach single family 620 actives coming on 714. So there was still a pop. It wasn't as drastic in single family in Palm Beach, but it was still an increase. And then 620 this week, active status changes. There was 173 that went under contract in the last 7 days and 176. So comparatively, maybe a hair of a slowdown, but not much. Pendings, you got 86, 99. There were weeks back here, we were in the 60s and 70s. So I will take those numbers all day long. Those are actually pretty strong. You've got 288 closings 2 weeks ago and 234 in the last 7 days. Palm Beach single family. Looking back, maybe a little off. Palm Beach was much stronger through the summer, which I've got to think has more to do with the subdivision, school system, that cycle. And then I don't see any crazy canceled here. If I go Palm Beach condo, and then I'll take comments. We've got 537 active status and then 582. So they had a big week 2 weeks ago. But look at these numbers, Richard, like 537 and 582. That's a lot of inventory coming on right now in the condo market. You've got 105 going under contract last 7 days, 129, a big, not a big, but you can noticeable difference of more property moving in this sector. You've got 69 pending, 71, pretty consistent here. You had 134 closings this week and 157 the week before. Nothing to write home about. It kind of looks consistent with what we were seeing here. And then I don't see any big canceled or expired. Thoughts?
No, Brett, before we go to thoughts, I've got one for you. If you go up to the top of your page, scroll up to the top. Instead of weekly, click on monthly.
What do you want?
This is all counties, all types. Scroll down and look at that graph right there. This is your seasonality in Florida. And what's interesting is if you look at this, if we were to go back even further, we're running ahead of where we were last year. But this is showing you that come springtime, right? March through end of July is our strong season down here. Go back to August of last year and you can see that now August through December is going to stay pretty consistent. There's a little bit of a drop last November for Thanksgiving, but that stayed consistent. January, February always suck down here, and then we get busy again. This is what our weekly numbers have been showing us as well, Brett. There's been very small changes week over week going back for the last couple of months. So I wanted you to show this to everybody to understand that it's I like that, Mr. Bagoon, that suck is a technical term. Yes.
All right. Click on the monthly comparison tab there. That will show what he's talking about. There we go. If you turn off the other years, the first 2 years.
There we go. Yep.
There you go.
So it's, well, the seasonality in Florida is going to be different than the seasons that you see up in Georgia. But this is what our agents need to understand, is that this is our norm. And the numbers that we're seeing right now, we're pretty well going to see this through the rest of the year. Now, again, as we've talked before, that depends what happens over in Iran. It depends on the price of oil and what's going to happen in elections in November. We can't control that type of stuff.
Well, but that's these are closings. But if you go to inventory's gotten tighter, or
it's gotten
tighter
all year long.
New listings are less this year than they were last year. Pendings, now look at that.
So that's incredibly optimistic and positive.
Yep.
And then obviously, what was the other one I wanted to show? Month supply. So we actually have less supply in these three counties right now than we had a year ago. And it's still a buyer's market in most sectors right at the moment. I think it'll move to a seller's market by spring, maybe even before that. But right now, the buyers have a big opportunity at the table. And I put a video out on social media, like, what are the advantages of this market? If you have a buyer that's ready, willing, and able, they actually have a lot of power in the equation that they haven't had in years right now. And so, yes, are the rates higher? Yes. Are the prices higher than they were years ago? Yes. However, they're not overpaying, and they're getting a fair shake at the negotiating table right now, because we're still at a balanced market or a little bit of a buyer's market.
And we're looking at macroeconomic data versus hyperlocal, which ultimately street to street, house to house, community to community. That's where your expertise really plays out as an influential part of someone's decision making.
Yeah. Now, this is all types. If I go just single family, that's probably not as much of a buyer's market. It's at 4.5 months inventory, where a year ago it was 7. So the sellers gained in this equation, where if I go condos, there's still 10 months of inventory, which is by definition a buyer's market, but it did give more power to the sellers in this equation. Any other thoughts? Numbers?
There's opportunity every day. That's what I see. The trend consistency is also a part of the equation, even though it's fluctuating up and down. It's following, to Richard's point, the seasonality curve, which shouldn't be alarming. In fact, it should be confirming.
Okay.
Yep. You price something properly, it is selling quickly. That's not changing, never has. This is an opportunity. I was looking at some of these stats, and I was going through so many different numbers. But what was striking me in certain of the categories, the average listing price was actually lower than the average sales price, which means that the higher end of the market is selling more from what the lower end of the market is. And it's rarely that. Usually you see more, if it's 250,000 for your average list price, your average sold price is going to be 2.25. And this kind of flipped itself a little bit.
Yep.
So you've really got to delve into the numbers and look at the specifics of what you're going out. And pricing always has been, always will be the most important thing that we can do for our clients is help them understand where to price their property to get it sold.
Yep. All right. I want to show you guys something before I lose control with the articles here. So I put this article up. I put this article up a couple weeks back. This was published on June 29th. I was in a private meeting in San Antonio, and I met with the house canary guy. And let me pull my screen down and share my phone because this has to happen on a phone. So if you go to your phone, and it has to be done in Google Chrome. But if you search for, let me get my phone up here. Homes for sale, Boca Raton, Florida. That's what I searched for. Google is now putting listings here. Okay. And it's being put here through a product called House Canary. And when you click on a listing, there's a button that says ask a question, and there's a button that says request a tour. Those two buttons create leads. All right. Now you will notice currently there are only EXP listings, the Kai's company listings, illustrated properties. There's only a handful of brokers that have signed the agreement with House Canary. Compass is about to sign it. We're probably about to sign it. I think Berkshire Hathaway's already signed it. So like all the big brokers are going to sign this agreement to put these listings here. Now, let me go back to my screen. So I'm just sharing this with you because I think you need to be aware. So what this means is those listings are going to be on Google, and any of those buttons get pushed are all going to be functioned through LSA, local service ads. So the real estate agent that pays Google money and does local service ads will get all those leads. Now, here's the challenge. It's actually a good lead source. However, if our agents aren't playing the local service ad, those leads will go to the agents that are. So we're going to have to jump fast at this, I believe, because as you can see, it's already on Google. And there's probably already listing leads being generated. And the truth is you could go do it today and get the leads off the other listings. But I have a feeling it's going to become a best practice, if you will, that all listings are going to land on Google. And it's going to be an interesting play for a lead generation source. Now, you've got Jeff Tricoli up in Palm Beach. That's his whole business model is local service ads. So, but local service ads play one-to-one. So what that means is if you pay, you will get your leads, and they're not sending them to everybody. So it kind of creates a level playing field. But all that to say, like, I'm actually considering just doing this at the brokerage level to bring some leads to the table for you guys. But I want you to be aware because this is happening fast. It's not Google doing it. It's House Canary doing it on Google, if that makes sense. So it's a fundamental lead generation shift that is happening. And as I said, I met with the House Canary guy to make sure I understood it privately in San Antonio. and it's Google local service ads. And if you're a listing agent and you want your leads, you'll be able to pay for your leads. Very similar to like a homes.com model. And they quoted anywhere from $50 to $150 for the lead. So just keeping everybody up to speed. Our listings are not there today because we haven't signed the agreement. Obviously, we're probably signing the agreement, but this is a fundamental strategy. Now, I can tell you it's going to ruffle feathers with the Zillows of the world. It's going to ruffle feathers with some of these others. But Google's getting in the game. Just FYI. Everybody understand? Moving on. Okay.
Competition's good.
I think it's good. We're probably not going to make all these articles, so I'm going to go fast. If I need 10 listings in the next 4 months, here's exactly what I would do. I'd send one unsolicited video CMA every day. Does anybody do this on this call? I think this is pure genius. An unsolicited CMA done by video to your sphere of influence per day. Just take your top 100, do a CMA on their house, record a video of that CMA and send it to them. It costs you nothing but time, and it's a high touch, high relationship value add to your database. I think it's a brilliant strategy. Become the dominant agent in one neighborhood. Answer the questions buyers and sellers are already asking. Talk to at least 5 homeowners every day. Become the most helpful person in local online groups. Use AI as your daily research coach. You can read through these articles, but I wanted to hit that one because I thought this is, I think, genius. What do you think of this? Jackie, you sold forever. Richard, Rick, what do y'all think of that?
We used to do it on their anniversary date and send them a congratulations, like an anniversary card, so their anniversary date of the purchase, and include a snapshot of how the market's going in their community.
So, Rick, I'm going to be general and say that's a lost art. I don't think the agents today are doing that.
Well, and it's easier than ever. With AI, you can literally set up an algorithm in your calendar and I would proof that information because it does glitch occasionally, and they call it hallucinating, I think, in the tech world when AI goes sideways. But nonetheless, it's a great touch. It shows you're on top of your game. It shows you're still the neighborhood expert and you're paying attention and you care about them.
Jackie, you were going to say something.
No, I just have never heard of anybody doing this. And you think one video a day wouldn't do anything, but then multiply that by what comes out a month. And the article is talking 4 months. You do this for 4 months, something has to come out of it.
100%.
Including your own expertise by looking into each one of those areas.
Yep.
The 2 things I did to jumpstart my business best early on, especially, one was Business Networking International. It was a networking group that I was in with only one person per industry. I sold 12 houses directly correlated to relationships built in a networking group. So I don't know where in your market area, if BNI is active, you may have to start a group because the realtor seat may not be available in your immediate community. But I would travel for that. It's an hour and a half once a week, meeting with 20 to 30, people in unique fields. There's no competing realtor in the group, and their job is to help bring referrals and leads to the group. It's like your own personal sales force. I crushed that strategy. The other thing, when we were down, we'd hold open houses every single day instead of Sunday only or Saturday only, every day drive time, and literally every day. It's the only place I know where you can put signs and balloons up and people will wander in that you don't know and introduce themselves as someone interested in real estate.
There you go. All right, I'm going to move us forward. Let's go here. So Jason Abrams gave 4 keys on lasting personal and professional success at Mega Camp. It was probably, I don't know, though, anybody on the call that was at Mega Camp, it was one of the best ones I've been doing in quite a while. He said, number one, I generate leads in order to have the opportunity to help as many buyers sell as possible, make the best decisions specific to this market. Those aren't the strategies. Hold on. I lost it. Hold tight. The 4 keys. Where'd the 4 keys go?
There you go. You just
Oh, here it is. Authenticity, competency, transparency, and dependability. You know, I think we all know these words, yet I don't know that you ever put some thought to your marketing and to your messaging and go, how am I being authentic? How am I showing competency? Am I being transparent in how I'm talking? And how do I demonstrate dependability? You know, these are the circle of trust words, but it's really, it translates to video messaging, it translates to marketing messaging, it translates to everything you do, and those are the keys to having like long-term success in this business, right? And I'm not sure everybody puts enough weight on these 4 words. Yet these are the 4 words that build a relational business that lasts the test of time. All right.
and
The
Brett,
question is, does your
I
social
think what you
feed?
said is I think what you said is the key to it, is that this builds a relational business, not transactional. And the agents that are going to be around 10 years from now, that's the kind of business that you need to build on.
Yeah.
And does your social footprint reflect those character traits? Is it obvious if I didn't know you and I started Googling or researching for an agent in your immediate area and pulled you up, would it be obvious that that's in your DNA?
There you go. All right, I'm going to end on this one. This one's off Housing Wire. It says, what can the government do to lower mortgage rates? They do have levers to pull, but not before some issues get resolved. They're trying to calm the long-term bond market. And as long as they can keep that 10-year Treasury calm, our mortgage rates will hold. They made an announcement on August 19th. We did get a rally in bonds, which kind of kept it down. The other thing with the bond is the yield. We're experiencing a good yield curve control, meaning the spread between the 10-year Treasury and the mortgage rates are more or less at 2%, which is what the historic is. But if that were to swell, we would see 7% mortgage rates, which would not be great. So they're really trying to hold that line on the 10-year Treasury because that's what they control. And then the mortgage bankers are doing everything they can to try to keep those rates below 7 by this yield curve control. The elephant in the room is still the Iran conflict. We haven't got a deal yet. The price of a barrel of oil, I don't know if it's in this article, is in the 80s right now. It did come down to 74 or $73 per barrel of oil. We're back in the 80s for a barrel of oil. But remember, when the conflict started, we were over $100 a barrel of oil. So it's at a sustainable rate, but it's still not going to come down till the conflict gets resolved. And that's basically what he was saying in here. Did y'all get anything else out of this? Richard? All right.
I mean, they're definitely trying to pull levers, and they recognize here's what I read. Keeping the interest rate below 7 is a priority, and that's good news. And hopefully they can manage just to keep buying time while we resolve some of the big world conflict situations.
There you go. There's a couple other articles where cash sales are still king. basically, for the most of the country, cash sales have come down. 23 American cities experienced double-digit drops in cash purchases. We're not on this short list. The Ocala came down 15% in cash sales. But I don't see any of our market areas on this short list. So do I think have less cash sales today? I do. I don't think it's considerably less. I think it's just a small incremental less. That makes sense. All right. On we go, guys. I wanted to hit that house canary. I hope that was of value, but it cut me short on getting through all the articles. So make sure you go back and read those articles. We post them in Circle.
Have an awesome day, guys.
Bye, guys.
Have a great one,
Thank
guys.
you. Amazing.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Brett.
You're welcome.
Hey, Rick.